Morning all. I realised actually I didn't play the Guru on Sparkchess, and let's take him on. So we're talking about perfection here, but up to 2 minutes a move. So the Guru, and it's a nice board actually. Sparkchess, very very nice board. Let's kick off with e4. Okay. e5. Now d3 I get the double pawns. Knight e2 looks a little bit awkward, but maybe it's better to avoid structural damage, and I can play d3 and then d4 maybe after. So I'm a bit in the way here. I just realised let's or maybe it's okay. So my opponent thinking here. Alright, d3. Let's sit back here. So knight c5, knight g3. I'm wondering about d4. Well, actually d4 here. If knight e4, f3, there's knight g5. I'm not. Oh, there's queen h4. So I'm not really trapping this knight particularly. I wonder if knight g3 might be a better proposition. The knight could be attacking over here. And if d4 later, well, if d4 from black, maybe the light squares are good. f4, and later do something with the light squares. So I'm wondering knight g3. Actually, d4, knight e4, f3. There's no check. That might be interesting just to play d4 here. Yeah, because I can play. Yeah, I think f3 there on knight e4, which means I can actually get a kind of good, I think, good version of the advanced French defense. Let's just move myself a bit down here so you can see the whole board. Pardon me, bit of adjustment there. I think I'm getting a good advanced French defense on. If the knight moved back, a kind of interesting French defense. If I have like f4, knight f3, it looks like a standard sort of French defense style structure, where black, I assume, is going to play like c5, knight c6, and try and undermine the pawn chain at the most exploitable base, which is d4. But I really, really like the position actually here. And it's funny, quite often when playing this, I mean, I'm not really thinking too much about it, but the knight e4 line, I've seen it before. So I think knight e2, yeah, if it promises this, I have to bear this in mind, I think. Yeah, just playing it like an advanced French defense. Knight f3, knight g3, or maybe even consider f5, as if takes knight f4, but that could be risky. That could be pretty risky. I think things are going well here. I think knight f3 is not too controversial. I think the real downside of black's position is lacking space. So let me see, knight g3 or f5 coming up. Knight g3, there could be a Greek gift possibility if black really castles kingside. Knight g3, bishop d3. Am I laughing? For a Greek gift. Oh, okay. No, okay. Let's not get too optimistic and ahead of ourselves. Knight g3, f5. I think g4, f6. So it's got to be. I've got to be careful here. f5. I'm worried about losing all my bits. I want to do this in a safe manner. Maybe the safest is just knight g3. Just to put the bishop on d3. Be able to answer c5 with c3. Be able to play maybe h4 and the Greek gift later, which I believe will be dangerous. The way black's playing things here. Okay, so c5, c3. Plan bishop d3, h4, and the so-called Greek gift is when you sacrifice on h7 to bring the king out. Then you have knight g5, quite often not with h4, but that will be an added bonus. King goes back or comes forward. If it goes back, then queen h5. So the idea is hitting actually h7 and f7. Alright, here it's, yes. Let's see what's happening after bishop d3. So I want to keep this bind in the center, which gives me a nice space to work with. Nice space. Now, if f5, I could try and peel open g file later. If f takes, maybe f takes, so I share that file. I'm just wondering if later the Greek gift, I might want to use the f file to make that more effective. Or there is a benefit actually of d takes, but it weakens to the last move, knight c5. So actually, to keep a grip on c5 and f6, keeping this knight out of the game, I'm wondering f takes. There's also the possibility of knight takes, but no, I like the idea of having my claws into key dark squares, f6 and c5 here. So I'm wondering f takes could be, and it actually opens up the bishop. It's got that benefit to it. I think the downside of black's position is the cramp here. I mean, it looks as though I'm poised for a Greek gift. Maybe h4, rook f3 and bishop h4. Maybe it's not that easy. There's another way of playing the position which might be safer then. If that really falters to rook f3, bishop h4 in some way. Well, I'm not convinced by that, but there might be a way of playing it with. Well, I'm going to play c3 anyway. I was thinking queen c2, because if g6. Then bishop takes hg, queen takes g6. This knight could swing in, but then there's rook g8. Okay, now the problem here, yeah, knight c6, take, and knight b4 could be on the cards. It does look okay. So there's some options here. The other thing is with queen c2, h6 might be possible. So I'm really wondering. Okay, that releases the tension in the center. I'm definitely going to keep my bishop trained on h7. I don't know about here. I might want to use the rook later. Okay, so here, I'm not sure about the battery with the queen in front, because g6. I don't know about that. But here, it still looks like a promising, if I play the cards right, it looks like a promising, just classic French defense position, where black is suffering a bit on the king's side. How best to do this? With the central tension released, it's really like a burden, a worry taken off one's mind with this tension release. I do wonder about h4 and just h4, and I'm not convinced rook f3, rook queen f3, bishop takes. That really is just another line of attack. Now bishop h7, knight g5. Yeah, I think something would be done about bishop h7, but I'm not entirely sure what. If h6, there might be the possibility of maybe playing bishop b1, because now that if that pawn's committed there, bishop b1 is more effective, because then queen c2. The problem with this black's position is that the knight's not yet getting to f8 to defend h7, so that would be pretty quick. So just as an example, h4, h6, bishop b1. the knight's got to get to f8. I wonder. I think this is going to cause trouble for black. It's a bit hack attack, but I think it causes trouble for black in this position. So bishop takes h7, maybe on the cards. Okay, bishop takes h7. Knight g5, king g8, queen h5, threatens mate. Rook moves. I'll take it from there at that position. The rook actually hasn't even got f5 that much. So I'm hoping also rook h3 could be dangerous later for rook g3. So I believe this is a promising position. Knight g5 takes, and black could try and close up things with g6. Now that sort of position actually is on the passive side, and I'm wondering about getting a knight to f6 after. That could be done with knight f1 to h2 to g4 to f6. So knight g5 lets black close up the h file with taking, and if take g6. On the other hand, yeah, then there's knight f8, and it seems a bit cozy. So I do wonder about this bishop takes again. Knight g5, king g8, queen h5. I think it might be too dangerous to take there on the h file. King g6, h5 check is too dangerous. So say king g8, queen h5 threatens a mating two of check and mate over there. I think I'm gonna go for this. Or is it worth doing some more calculation here? Let's go for it. I don't like the other lines particularly because they might give black a fortress. I've geared up for this anyway with that h4. It seems to justify the h4 at least. So let's see. So I want to play knight g5 and queen h5. Well, I've got the guru thinking. Right, so knight g5. I think black suffers, yeah, there's lack of space. Makes this attack kind of more things to throw in at ease, to throw into the attack, it seems. This aggressive pawn chain, and black's pieces over here, of course, are spectator pieces, the classic spectator pieces. If I can get this rook in, maybe this knight can do something. I've got some attacking resources to throw in here. I start calculating again after king g8, queen h5. If queen f8, queen h7. If the rook moves, well, queen h7. If queen, yeah, it just seems really actually kind of dangerous. This position, as far as I can see, this is a natural move to play. Now, if taking, and again I'm renewing actually a mate threat on h8. If g6, queen h8, if knight f8, queen takes f7. So if rook moves, queen h7. If rook f5, well, that's slightly interesting. Maybe takes, if takes check, king f8, queen h8 is mate. Okay, I'm going to open up this rook. I don't think there's too many choices here. I'm opening up this rook. So it's like a fishing pole strategy. In the fishing pole, a rook is activated like this. So the threat here is Queen H8 mate. Now let's imagine an evacuation with King F8. Maybe I can bring this bishop onto this diagonal to cut out an escape square on E7. So I'm thinking King F8, G6. The rook moves somewhere. Say F5. Knight takes. Bishop G5 cuts the escape square. And once that escape square is cut, or even if a piece goes there, then Queen H8 is mating. I think this is generally good news, basically. It's genuinely good news. This position. I must admit, I quite enjoy the reflections here. The wood is beautiful, absolutely stunning. Wood and reflection here. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so up to 2 minutes move. Maybe I've got the guru in trouble. There seems to be a lot of time being used here at this moment. If Knight F8, the problem with Black King is escape squares are cut by its own pieces. Yes, I've looked at this. I think taking and then G6 means there's an immediate mate in one threat. Knight F8, Queen H8. Yeah, that seals the exit square. If I take, G6 takes away that exit square. King F8 aiming for another exit square. I can take that away with Bishop G5. So I think this is the way to go. I'm going to take here. And then play G6. I'm just this process of taking away systematically escape squares of the king here. So if taking G6, King F8, trying for an escape on E7, Bishop G5, and then I'll be threatening again, taking away this square and this square. I'll be threatening Queen H8, checkmate. Oh, the rook wasn't recaptured. I think this is fundamentally good news for me. Have I not got coordination square G7? If I play check, king moves, queen takes G7. This is very, very promising. King E8, knight D6 check would force black to give up the queen. Now let's make sure, try and make sure I don't misclick here. Not H7 but H8. I mean, for taking on G7, King 8, Knight D6. So I'm going to click and try and click over here. And let's take here. And let's play Knight D6. I believe that's a good move. And take the queen. I think that's good news. Now I'll be threatening Rook H8, pinning the knight. Spectator pieces abound here. So Rook H8 is on the cards. That looks a very, very promising position. I don't think it matters how much time is used here. I think I'm confident from this position that black's in big trouble. Rook H8 on the cards. Let's see How does black handle that now? Interesting. Oh, okay. I think I can just simply take that knight and just look forward to hunting the king here. I might even protect this pawn, or actually I could simply on king d7 just throw in the check. King takes, bishop f4 is going to be winning more material. It seems hopeless for the guru here. Let's see. Yeah, it seems as though the check is good. Maybe more efficient might be bishop f4. In fact, yeah, because if b6 after bishop f4, b6 check, try and mate simply the king quite quickly. I suppose the knight could move to give the c6. So in that case, let's just this has gone with the check here. That pin pawn means the knight's going to have to interpose on king takes. Bishop f4, the knight will have to interpose. Bishop takes, king c6, rook c7 check, king b6, and the attack rages on. If king d8, queen g8 is checkmate. Okay, I think this is very, very promising. Okay, let's see. Right, I think I'll take that to potentially, I don't think there's any stalemate just yet. I'm going to be getting another queen on here. It's going to be a double check. Almost a triple check. No, I'm just checking. It's just a double check. Alright, we have a check and a queen emerging here. It's good that it's not an over-the-board game, because if you put a pawn in an over-the-board game, a blitz, you can forfeit. It's an illegal move. Remember to put a queen on if it was a blitz over-the-board game. Safety tip. A lot of rules. Yeah, to make sure you know. Okay, about promotion. It used to be people putting an upside-down rook when they were promoting a pawn. That's really changed now. I think you've got to have your queen available, and in fact organisers often provide another queen at the start of the game, generally. Okay, so here yeah, I think it's going well. Oh dear. King b6, queen d8 check. Now we've still got a bit of hunting to do here. Yes. Queen d8 check. Trying to take some escape squares again away from the opponent's king. So that cuts across two escape squares on a6, a5 and b6. Now with king a6, then queen e8 would threaten a mate with queen a4, and if the b pawn moves, well, take it from there. If the b pawn moves to b6, queen a4 is mate. If b5, I think queen c6 is checkmate. I think the end is close here. The end is close. The end is near. Yeah, I think this is a continuation video. If you remember, I played one of the Sparkchess characters before, and some of you said to play the Guru. So I'm playing the Guru. I think the Guru's going down, guys. I think the Guru's going down after queen e8. This looks very, very promising. I've cut those escape squares systematically through this game, cutting the escape squares systematically. So this queen on e8, we have to distinguish which queen we're talking about. Queen e8 to a4 is going to be checkmate. It stopped for a moment at some cost. Now, worrying about stalemate is a thing. Take the rook here, take the queen, queen takes b7, or just take the bishop. I think I'll just take the bishop en route. Right, there's always the e pawn to move. I don't want to go into allow a stalemate. Let's take these guys. I think this check actually. Let's do the business. And checkmate. Yeah! Oh, I was always too frightened to play the Guru. I thought he was going to crush me. He can take up to 2 minutes. Thank you, Guru. And Sparkchess, yeah, it's a load of fun. Nice, beautiful board. And I hope you enjoyed that. Comments, questions, likes, appreciated. Thanks very much.